Welcome, Survivor. I'm here in Alpha 19. As you can see, it looks different. Wait. Sorry. I turned the 9 upside down. It's actually 6. We're in Alpha 16. And why are we in Alpha 16? It looks so different. Well, I made a review of some features that are coming in Alpha 19 last week, and I wanted to have a chat about something else that is always coming up as we get into new versions. Namely, this Zombie AI and Pathfinding, always very controversial. I'm going to do that by contrasting what we had in Alpha 16, which was before they changed the AI system that is now in effect in Alpha 17, 18, and presumably in Alpha 19. And hopefully you enjoyed this discussion. Whether you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, make sure you subscribe. That's how I can keep on growing, so I can keep on making these videos for you. It is of course all free, except for your time. So, a few of the scenarios we're going to do. I'm going to be inside here, and I'm going to spawn some zombies, and I'm going to see what they do. I'm also going to go over here, where I'm going to be standing above them, so we can see what happens. I will also probably go out somewhere, whatever, and I'm going to be underneath the zombies and see how they act. And finally, we're going to have a setup here where I have a nice little steel enclosure walls, but I have some reinforced concrete for just 2 blocks here, and we'll see, does that impact how the zombies actually path. And I'll be doing that for both Alpha 16 and Alpha 18, because that's paramount to discussing how this all works and what are the positives or negatives with how the zombie AI behaved in Alpha 16 versus Alpha 18. Because then we can look at, well, what really needs to be changed in Alpha 19? What was good and what was bad? And how does it need to change? So first off, we have 10 of the footballers, 10 whites, and 10 cheerleaders. And I'm going to attract their attention. They're all coming from the same direction. We'll see, what do they do? So they run around here. Presumably it's the closest to the player. Yes. They did not attack anything there. They really went for whatever was closest. And really interestingly, they seem like they're fighting each other as much as anything else. They're all sort of congregating here. And I wonder if I move myself forward, does that change where they are going to be? Nope. They are not. They're all going to the same place here, and they try to get through here, and they are actually breaking. And you can notice how long it takes for them to actually get through. With these blocks and the degradation, that took a long time for them to get through, because you have 10,000 plus 6,000 plus 3,000. 19,000 damage despite how much damage these are dealing. So, I might actually be dying here as they break through. But you still, now they're through the reinforced concrete. They're going for the concrete, but look how many the zombies it is. And okay, fortunately I'm in god mode, so I'm not going to die. Interesting that they didn't just actually spread out so much, so I think this is all right. It's a little bit weird that they knew exactly where I was. Okay, let me hold on. Stop. They knew I was over there, that's why they went around. So so is this a reasonable way for Alpha 16? I think so. I think this is sort of what you normally saw. They would sort of go towards you, try to get as close and just to get through. Here in Alpha 18.4, we now have similar setup. I am inside here, and still without clothes. And I have my cheerleaders and my whites, and actually graphics is actually so much smoother. But anyway, beyond that, let's start and see what they do. Okay, let me shoot. They run there. Jump on top of each other. That's something I believe did not happen as much previously. Now, are they beating? I think they are. Come on, don't jump over. Okay. They're definitely beating. You see how fast they're just tearing their way through here. It is obviously degrading from steel to reinforced concrete, but well, you didn't have this ladder thing. I guess cheerleaders and whites do make a pretty good team here. Not bad. But now they are pretty much getting through already. They are going to the same spot, so that's interesting. They are piling up on each other, which is also really nice actually, since they don't have that door block to walk on, and they're actually beating all this. They partially do more damage. Oh, let's get rid of her. but they also have the horde damage bonus, and now they are through. So this is how it looked, just for if you have a small little bunker. Alright, ladies, boys. Right, here we have the second. So I'm going to be above them. I've summoned in 25 feral cheerleaders, and what is happening? They run here. Some of them lost interest very quickly, but now they're just standing there. And this was one of the big problems in Alpha 16. They would always try to get towards you, and then they would bash whatever was there to try to get through. But what if you're actually not there because you're up in the air? They couldn't handle it. So this was a big challenge. It was basically, in effect, actually fairly game-breaking, because if you use this defense, well, now you're totally safe from any and all zombies. There's no way that they will ever get you. Well, maybe flying, but if you have a small hut here, that protects you from that as well. So this was a big problem. But what happens if you're standing above them? How does Alpha 18 actually deal with that? So let me shoot and get their attention, and they ran towards me and decided that no, I'm going to take out this pillar that you are actually using. So let me see, can I shift a little bit? What happens if I shift over here? Now they're piling. Oh, I don't want to shoot them there. That instead. And they are shifting a little bit. They're seeing a little bit of the same behavior, I think, because of the distance. If it's too far, they still seem to want to mill underneath. But if I'm close enough here, no. Maybe at some point they're going to start going for the wall. No. Okay, that's really interesting. Normally I would actually go for the wall, but I guess this has not been fully solved. They sort of still like to mill around underneath. They like to get to where the player is underneath, but yeah, they don't actually do very much beyond that. So that problem has not been resolved. They did initially try to go to this pillar. Yeah, smoothly walk here. But yeah, you don't see them actually taking that one down. Interesting. So let's put another 25 cheerleaders here, and I am going to sink down into the ground. So I'm actually in the ground now. And let's restart. Let's see what happens. What is happening with the zombies? I'm going to shoot so they know I'm there, and well, now we run into the second big problem. This is practically identical to the previous situation where they would run towards the player, and you see I'm actually down there, but since they didn't actually dig on mine, they could not deal with it. They would stand and run there until they lost the scent and decided to wander off, but that was about it. So if you wanted to stand below to idle out the Blood Moon Horde, that went really well. Not an issue. It looked pretty cool though if you're in the ground, which you could be. And I didn't realize you actually could loot. Ah, interesting. Which was of course another change in Alpha 16 versus 17 upwards. So this was another game-breaking problem that existed. And it was definitely one of the things that the Fun Pimps wanted to change or fix. Let me just go down into the ground. Underneath them. If I can just verify that. Yes, I'm obviously underneath them. What happens now if I just re-enable the AI? I do this, and they're beating, which implies that they are actually also digging. Oh yeah, they definitely are digging. So we see that slowly. Some of them lost the will to attack, but if I make some noise, definitely they are tunneling down. So the tunneling thing has been fairly well fixed. They lose they lose the scent after a while. But if you keep making some noise, definitely, and this is of course the same thing for Blood Moon Hordes, they will be digging down, and eventually they will get down to you. And there's some stone here. There was obviously the hard asphalt. There's some dirt here, I believe. But it's taking them a while to get through, but they will eventually be able to get through. Interesting. I was a little bit interested about this scenario again, so let me retry. If I can actually... Oop, let's not jump out there. Yeah, now they are partially at least trying to break the pillar. But I don't think that's fully consistent. Yeah, now they're losing the scent. So yeah, above, definitely not fixed. Below, yep, they do make a nice big hole. They do have a little bit of fighting that they're trying to do. Let me see if I can do that. Did they do a little bit? That's when they are attacking the pillar, but yeah, nothing significant. If you're just a few blocks away, you're just fine. Here we have another situation where you are in your armored fort and you have them all surrounding you. So I've placed the cheerleaders, feral ones, all around so we can see how do they actually behave. So let's re-engage the AI. Let's shoot it a little bit and we'll see how they do here. They go towards that because that's the closest. And this one is probably equally close. Yeah, that looks about correct. So they basically decided to go to wherever they think is the closest to the player. And these two spots seems to be it. They don't actually care that this one is, well, a lot weaker. So even, I think even if this, well, if this one was open, they would probably go through. But beyond that, everything is closed. This one is definitely a lot weaker because this one has 6 by 3,000 hit points. This one has 10 plus 6 plus 3. The zombies don't care. They see that it's obstructed. They decide that, hey, whichever is closest to my way to the player, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go and try to get through there. And that seemed fairly realistic, actually. I mean, the zombies don't know that, hey, over there, ooh, this one is only reinforced concrete, and I know that, so I know that it's less effort to get through. They would basically just go, this is where he is. Eat him, eat him. Well, maybe they don't actually use that voice or that thought process, but that's effectively what they did here in Alpha 16. And I thought that worked fairly well, actually. And you notice that they are in 2 different places, which means that they're also beating multiple areas. And I wonder, once they get through here, we'll see whether they actually all congregate there. So we'll see. I'm going to wait a little bit, see what happens when they get through one place, whether the rest of the zombies actually move over there. I'm actually not entirely certain. Alright, so this is actually taking a really long time. I am going to, actually it's to the degree that I saw zombies actually dying on their own, I think, or timing out. So I am going to, just to help a little bit to break this down, because otherwise I'll be here waiting for probably another half hour or something. And this actually shows one of the changes in the AI and the block strength, that they don't get the horde damage bonus that they used to get, or that they do get in Alpha 18. And the blocks have a lot more hit points. You saw this one degraded from 10 down to 6. And then it's going to be another level down to 3, I believe. Yep. And let me go up here. See, do all then go through? So it just takes so long for them to get through compared to what it does in Alpha 18. Okay, so that one is... Oh, now, okay, so now... Okay, so a hole was made. And of course, I think they're bumping each other so they can actually get through. But the rest of them are like, oh, now there's actually a faster way that goes even closer to the player. And now they ran through. That one actually lost the send. Is like, I have no idea. Let me come out. Let me just get me out of here. But the rest of them are in here trying to break this one because that is the spot that I'm at, and they of course want to break it. Now, if I was doing something like this, let's see, like this. Let's see if I can put this one up. Yes, I can. And if I was, let's see if I do. Alright, so I basically shifted myself up here to where I am floating. They would have problem getting that, just like we saw over on the other test. They would be beating that pillar, but after that pillar is down, well, they don't really care. Now actually they've even stopped beating here because these ones think that, hey, I'm underneath. There's nothing for me to beat to get to. So these ones are sort of still trying to get through. They are bumping each other a little bit. But this is how the AI worked in Alpha 16. So you could see some good ways in the way it's acting here. I think was really good. The way it was acting over there when you're over and under, not as good, unfortunately. And just like the last time, we now have my slightly bigger fort where I have walls, except for the entrance, which is just reinforced concrete. The rest is steel. Of course, obviously has more health points. And we have these cheerleaders all surrounding me. I think I won the last game. So yeah, now they're coming to try to take me out. So there won't be a rematch. But let's see what happens when I enable the AI. So they are running here. And these ones are all, actually all of them are all running over here. And this is a major change. This one got a little bit stuck, but you see they're going there. This is a major change. Actually, let me see if I can just build up here so they don't actually jump over. This is a major change in Alpha 18 from the previous one, and you see they're already through here. Let me see if I can do that. They're already through that one because there's so many at the same spot, but also that they actually all knew that, hey, this is reinforced concrete. This has less health points, hit points to get through. So maybe we'll all go to the same spot as opposed to sort of spreading out a little bit, going to the two places which are closer. And I am going to see they're all going through here. Let me do this. And I think I should be able to do that. Hold on, let me just reset this a little bit and putting myself even closer to this corner. Okay, quick little reset. I am closest to these spots now. So if it was as per Alpha 16, they would actually congregate over here. And I have, of course, got them to change this over to reinforced concrete. So let me do that. So now they're all on this side. They wouldn't actually know, and I'm closest here. So if you were playing Alpha 16, you would expect them to actually, well, go over to this spot and try to beat their way through. And that's exactly what they do. No, actually, they don't. They know magically, omniscient from the alien hive mind mothership up in the space, where they know that this is the better place to attack. So no longer trying to just get as close to the player and then beating whatever is there. Nope, they know this is the closest way to get through, and I'm actually going to have to... No. Okay, I'm not... Okay, this is a really interesting... It's like, oh yeah, let me... There, finally, you're seeing them beating. Oh, okay, let me... No, Q, no! There was a little bit of it interesting that she decided that standing or sitting next to me, she wanted to dig down rather than beat me until her friend came up and gave me a whack. And then, unfortunately, I was not in God mode. Oh, no. And spawning a bunch of them in. Yep. Let's see where they go. Now, because it's all steel, I replaced everything with steel. They're like, yep, nope. Let's just beat through here. These ones have realized that actually that steel block is a little bit damaged, so it actually is a pretty good place to attack. But yeah, most of them basically, yeah, well, let's try to get as close as possible and beat. But yeah, I think that once this one is, if I do this, yep, now you see they slowly are deciding that, hey, this one, and that's when they actually recalculate. Now they all know that this one is the better way through, even though there's actually still no hole. But they know that it's less effort to bash this one to get through, so that's what they do. And when it's like this, of course, everyone should be getting through the same hole, which was what was done in Alpha 16 as well. But yeah, the difference is whether there's a hole there or not, or whether that's low health point blocks that are in the way. So where does that leave us? Well, if you let's take a little bit of a recap here. If you're in Alpha 16, you did have some challenges. If you were above or below the zombies, you were basically super safe because they could not and would not be able to engage you. If you were anywhere else, meaning behind some walls, they would go to as close as possible where they heard you or knew you were, and they would try to beat their way through. So it was fairly realistic. You know, it's how zombies, I would imagine, working. They would try to get close to you and then just bash whatever is there so they actually can get to you. The downside was when they couldn't get to you, such as being above and below, they had no way of dealing with it. Alpha 17 and Alpha 18 by extension had changes made to that. You could see if you were now under them, they definitely could deal with you by mining down, so you couldn't hide under. But you notice they still had an issue with you being above them. They still could not effectively get to you, and they wouldn't actually always beat the supports. Sometimes they would, a lot of times they would not. So slight improvement there. But that seems to have come at the expense of, as you can see, they had the full awareness of what blocks and their health points were between them and you, and they would choose the path of least resistance. And I don't think that was a good trade-off. I think that that's not the way it should be. it was a much better in Alpha 16. So while they fixed the mining thing, they seem to have introduced behavior that was really, really weird. They would path through various mazes, etc., if it meant they would go through lower health point blocks. And zombies are dumb. They shouldn't be able to do that. So, where are we when it comes to Alpha 19, which is what this is really all about? What would you do to take what we had previously, Alpha 16, and what we had in Alpha 18? Well, the first thing I would do, zombies, when they hear of you, they know of you, or they see you, they should be trying to get you as close as they can from where they are. They shouldn't be running long ways around to get to you. They should try to take the closest visual range that they can actually get to, or where they hear you. That's what a zombie would do. If that path is blocked, yes, maybe they go a few here left or right, but they would try to bash through because they're mindless. They're trying to just get through to you if they think you're on the other side. If you're below them, well, it's the same thing. They hear, they know you're there, so they should be minding down. And that was a good thing fixed in Alpha 17 and 18. If they're above you, now that's a bit of a question. How do you deal with that? From a zombie standpoint, what Alpha 16 happened, and what we see slight in Alpha 18, is that they sort of just mill around. That might be somewhat realistic, but it's also kind of boring from a game perspective. What I would suggest happening is that what I've been saying since Alpha 16 is have them enter some kind of rage mode. They get frustrated, they get because they can't get to you, and maybe they just start attacking any blocks that are within, let's say, 10 or 15 or whatever is reasonable from the AI pathing computation. So they will bash blocks that would potentially be holding the player up, which means that if you're standing above them, like in this case, you would eventually be falling down because they would be taking out the pillars. They wouldn't know that these are structural pillars, but effectively the same thing would happen in that they would just go there and bash it because they get frustrated and get into this kind of rage mode. That's what I would want to see happen. On this last part of being omniscient and knowing the block health of all the blocks between them and you, I think that has to go away. I think it should be reverted back to what was in Alpha 16. They would go to the closest one, they would try to get through there, and they would do that and simply try and attack you. They wouldn't go around, they wouldn't go through a maze or something because they know that, hey, this is an easier path. I wouldn't know because I've never seen it and I'm a zombie, but hey, I still know about it because it's just so immersion breaking. That means that we would have more of an Alpha 16 way of it where they would run up to the wall and just start bashing it. They wouldn't all go around because they know that on the other side of the building there's an easier path, because it introduces a lot of weird things. And one thing I haven't covered is there's actually a benefit of their least resistant pathing, and that is in, let me go over here, PUIs. If you remember from Alpha, I don't remember this one looking this way. Oh, the reason it looks like this is obviously because I'm actually over here, so the game is not rendering it properly. Hold on. Right, this is how it should be. So, if you remember the old Alpha 16, one of the problems with the PUIs was that if I was standing out here and I was making some noise, like this, all the zombies inside would basically just Swiss cheese the whole plate. They would try to break whatever they could in order to get out or get to you. They didn't actually care whether there was anything that was easy or hard, or there were doorways or whatever. They would just try to break everything to get through you. So if there was a path that they could get through, they wouldn't actually necessarily care. They would just simply bash their way out. And that made Swiss cheese with a lot of buildings, which was really unnecessary. The good thing about Alpha 18 is that if you take out a few, let's see, I take this out and you make some noise, if the zombies that are within a reasonable period here actually hear about that and they have an open path, they would actually, as far as possible, try to path through and use the open path that you have. And that was really nice. It meant that a lot less Swiss cheese in the buildings. So how can we preserve the both of each? Now you want to have a situation where, and what I think is reasonable, where these zombies that lived here, they still have some very rudimentary memories of everything. So if you are here and they know that there's a path to you that is, because there are no doors, for instance, etc. It sort of makes sense for them to actually path a bit better rather than just breaking everything and trying to get through the wall to get to you. So I think that the advanced AI that they had in 1718, I think it's just fine for POIs. They would path it a little bit better, but they would be familiar with the place, and I think that's fine. But I think for wandering hordes, for instance, wandering zombies maybe, but definitely the Blood Moon Horde zombies, they've never been here before. They wouldn't know that if they're coming from this side that there's an easy path in through here that is only concrete, for instance. They wouldn't know. Let them have the basic pathing that was there before, where they basically swarm, try to destroy it, they try to get to you without having this super pathing that you see in the POIs. I think that would be a good way of actually differentiating Blood Moon Hordes, which is really a swarm of zombies which have been sort of gathering from all over the countryside, and they're sort of hitting you because they've been sending you out because of whatever activity you've made, and it's a Blood Moon Horde, versus the POI zombies where they've been living there, they've been existing there for a long time, so you could imagine that they had some rudimentary memories of the area, and they would behave slightly differently. And I think that would, for me at least, really make a big change, because I really don't mind the pathing in the POIs, but I really mind the pathing when I have a base, because they will follow a maze. They will follow a certain path that you can make it, which can make it really cool to make interesting and fun bases, but it's totally unrealistic. It's just totally unrealistic the way they can understand and know that, hey, this block is a lot weaker than the steel block, so yes, I'm going to go all the way around just to get through it. And you can imagine, obviously, you have multiple layers, and they still know that, hey, going a particular way means I have 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 3,000 plus 3,000, so that's 16,000. But if I go this way, I only have 5,000 plus 1,000, 6,000. So yes, I'm going to go there because it's easier. They wouldn't know, but right now they actually do. So if I have a like this, I put the steel over there, and I put in my, let's see, 25 cheerleaders. Yeah. You're going to see that they will definitely be going through the concrete right now. Of course they won't. Why would they be going through the concrete when they know that actually there's a steel block behind it? And again, this, why would that make sense? If they know that concrete is weaker, they should go for it, right? No. But they also know that they have a steel block behind, despite the fact that they can actually see it. But the mothership in the space, who's actually overseeing all this, definitely knows about it, and that's why the rest of them know as well. Totally unrealistic. So for this situation, reverting back to a bit more what's Alpha 16 swarm zombies, as opposed to zombies that know everything about the map and everything about your base. But that's my take on it. That's what I would do, and what I would urge the fun pimps to start working on if they haven't already for Alpha 19, because zombie behavior is so key to how we play the game. And Alpha 17 and 18 have been fairly immersion breaking because of the behavior. PIs, just fine. Hordes, definitely not fine at all. A lot of problems there. And now I am being attacked as well. Can I fly up a little bit? And at the same time, I think it would satisfy the best of both. It would give us better POIs, but it will also give us better Blood Moon Hordes, which would make the game more fun. But what do you think? How should the zombies be acting in Alpha 19? Let me know in the comment section below. Give me your thoughts. Ultimately, the fun pimps sort of listen to the community at times. Not always, but if enough people provide good ideas and feedback that they could actually implement without huge amount of effort, then hopefully we can see positive change. But that's all for me for now. This has been my thoughts on Alpha 16, Alpha 18, and hopefully Alpha 19 Zombie AI Pathfinding. Good night.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.